I'm not going to talk about Will not being on the podcast. Oh, wait. Here's Tammy. Say hi, Tammy.
Hello. Thank you for having me back.
Okay, I'm not going to talk about Will being on the podcast because it already made me so mad in the last day. But Will's not on here. And pretty much I'm just mad to figure out if I'm going to have to spend more money or not to make this mistake not happen, or if there's a way to not make it happen. But it's been a gazillion episodes of bad audio stuff. So
That was so loud.
speaking of bad audio, dropping coins on a hardwood floor, fake. Anyway, so Tammy's here, and we're gonna do some jokes, okay?
All
Except
right.
Tammy, you have to do some.
Oh, will I get to say some?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Will's.
I'm saying wills.
Yeah.
I haven't read through them, so I don't even know what they are.
I know. I'm gonna send them to you right now.
Okay.
Okay. And
I'll be laughing at the punchline right along with everyone else.
Don't read ahead.
I won't.
Just read it out loud as you read it.
Okay. Are you going first or am I going first?
No. You're going first.
Okay. I'm going first?
Yeah, and there's a reason, but
Okay.
but you gotta be a little bit. Get the mic pointed right at your mouth.
At my mouth?
Yes.
I think that I'm so loud, and I think so I'm holding it away from my mouth, but I will not. Did you hear about this? Some local news. Joe Holland from Sumner, Washington set a new American record for the largest pumpkin, 2,363 pounds.
Wow.
However, when he tried to load the pumpkin onto his truck, it wouldn't move. His tractor, which previously lifted his 1,800 pounders, wouldn't budge this year's pumpkin. He found a bigger forklift and got his pumpkin on the road to California. Luckily, the forklift was available, since it is usually busy moving your mom. Good one. Daniel Craig revealed that he prefers going to gay bars.
Yep, he did. That's what he said.
Oh, he says it's less aggressive and there's less dick swinging than hetero bars. Or maybe he's just looking for a gold finger. Or maybe he was just tired of Octopussy. Thank you so much for letting me say that, Jeff.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was a funny one. Thanks, Will.
Okay, now here's what's going to happen is Tammy already proofread these, and she's not going to laugh at mine, but Will's were new, and she's going to laugh at those.
I think yours are funny, though.
Scientists in Australia announced a plan to save the declining koala population there by vaccinating them against chlamydia, a disease particularly harmful to the small marsupials. Here's another interesting fact. Australia and chlamydia are both penal colonies. You don't have to...
It's not a courtesy laugh.
You don't have to courtesy laugh. It's okay.
It's not.
Actually, the plan is only a small part of the Australian Prime Minister's new initiative to vax the whole bush. Scientists said, you know what? If you don't want our vaccines, we'll just do stuff to koalas. Keeping it in Australia, Sydney-born comic actress Rebel Wilson would like people to stop focusing on her weight loss, but understands why people are so obsessed. I personally don't care that she's not fat, as long as she knows it won't be as funny when she falls down.
Just so wrong.
I think it's wrong too. She was Fat Amy in the movies.
That is true. She was Fat
So
Amy.
she
in
does
Pitch
that.
Perfect.
Actually, this is something that Bobby Lee was talking about. He's like, in my earlier career, if they wanted me to do like an Asian accent and do like stereotypical Asian stuff, and I needed the money real bad, he goes, I would do it. But he's like, I'm older now, and he goes, he wants to say it's because he's more like secure in himself and more aware that that's racist against Asians potentially.
Right.
But also he's like, I'm just in a position where I don't need the money. So I would fight back against it a little more. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a weird play, but I do feel bad. I mean, Rebel Wilson and Melissa McCarthy is another example. Sometimes I'm watching her movies, and the one where she's the college mom, or the mom, and she goes back to college and
Life
stuff
at
like
the
that.
Party.
Oh my gosh, that made me cry.
That movie's so funny.
So hard, like laugh so hard. I like cried like 3 different times laughing in that movie. But there's something she does in every movie, and I'm like, I don't know if this would be funny if she wasn't fat. Like she'll fall down or spill food all over herself, or and it's always a little bit weird to me. I don't know. Hilarious. Greta Thunberg danced to Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up as she rickrolled the audience at a recent concert meant to bring attention to climate change. Researchers with PhDs and 40-year careers are joining OnlyFans to get someone, literally anyone, to listen to them. So basically, the future of our planet is in the hands of an 18-year-old who's no different than an anti-vax mom who's done her own research.
I know. I've thought about that before.
She's just a kid who's like into it.
Yeah.
Like she had to choose, like in 6th grade or whatever it is, in whatever her country is, level 7 or whatever. They got to like pick their report, and somebody did like ant colonies, and then somebody did like tigers in zoos, and then somebody did puffins, and then she got like global warming for her science thing in 6th grade, and now she could have been the leading like puffin advocate in the world, but instead she's the leading like activist, climate change teen in the world who hasn't done. Yeah, she's on this book. I was talking in deleted episode. I was talking to Will about this. I thought it was fake. I even checked Snopes, but even when I put it into Google, all the actual book listings came up. The title of the book, you can Google it. It's like Speeches That Changed the World.
Yeah.
All the speeches that changed the world are in this book, apparently. Speeches that changed the world. On the cover is Martin Luther King Jr. and Greta Thunberg.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
She's in like the same category as him, apparently.
Yeah. Like Twitter was just going crazy the other day with him.
Didn't she won like some award, didn't she, or something?
I don't know. Maybe.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Speaking of being famous for nothing.
Is this a Kardashian joke?
Kourtney Kardashian. Oh. Even though Kourtney's my favorite. Kourtney Kardashian got engaged to Travis Barker this week.
Oh, I know. I heard.
It was a mostly traditional engagement on the beach at sunset, surrounded by roses. Travis got down on one knee and sucked the ring off her finger. That was my favorite. I got to do my favorite last.
That's funny. I know.
Yes. Yeah, they're little freaks. Did you like doing Will's jokes?
Yes. Although it was weird to read them without knowing where they were going, so I couldn't really anticipate like.
And also, how could you say that about my mom?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to? Is there anything you're worried about for when my mom comes up here?
No.
Not the usual things?
Oh my gosh. There's never usual things. I love it when your mom comes for a visit.
Just kidding, everyone and my mom. I just said that because it puts Tammy on the spot. How about the Daniel Craig one? Will and I talked about this too. Isn't it crazy they could put they could put the word pussy in a movie title.
I know.
If they wanted to, if people want to talk about hell and the world going to hell in a handbasket, 40 years ago they had a movie with straight pussy in the title. 8 of them, actually. That's just crazy.
Yeah. Crazy.
You should be able to speak on this topic more than me.
I don't care enough to talk about it.
Actually, last time we did the podcast, I forgot. I'd said that we were doing the podcast naked in bed, and we are doing that again. But sorry for the person who got grossed out.
Oh my goodness.
The world's only, probably not the world's only, but the only world's only Gig Harbor's. I feel safe saying that. Gig Harbor's only fully nakedly recorded podcast.
I just don't even know what to say to that. I was going to ask you if this was like a Halloween episode because it's like the Monday before Halloween. You know?
We don't really have themed episodes.
No, you should. Especially with holidays like that.
Okay, go.
Do you want to talk about Frankenstein? That's your favorite book.
No.
That's the only thing that came to my mind about Halloween.
This is not a book review podcast. I should talk about Frankenstein sometime. It is my favorite book, but I don't want to talk about that right now because I have a more interesting thing to talk about. And it's something that Will wanted to talk about. Again, now it's been weeks and weeks since it happened. Deleted episodes, all that jazz. But one episode, I was nervous because I was dressed like a Persian and I met our neighbor. I had my hair up in a bun. I had a gold chain on. I was wearing a long dress shirt not dress shirt, but a shirt dress that went down to my knees and black leggings under it. And I was going to be, joggers, sweats.
Yeah.
Sweat. No, I don't want to say leggings because it wasn't leggings, but
were they your?
That would have been more comfortable. But I met the neighbor Dave, and he was a horse riding, Arlington living construction worker with a big bushy beard.
He had his Carhartts on.
And he had his Carhartts on and his shirt with the reflective thing that Will knew the name of and I didn't. The Three Stripes shirt. And he is just manly. And then everything he talks about is manly and stuff. And then so I was a little nervous about going over there. And so Will wanted to know if I had beer. I didn't have beer. He was obsessed with beer. And, but we went over there and it was Dave and it was his girlfriend's house, but Dave was there and his girlfriend's sister and her friend. And so all night long, and this is not uncommon, for the 2 hours we were there, Tammy talked to Dave about hunting and I talked to the girls about charcuterie boards. And
there's so much truth to that.
And
it's so funny.
That is not, like I said, that is not an uncommon scenario. Now, did Tammy grow up hunting or going to hunt? If Tammy's family vacations were hunting trips. Tammy's family vacations were her dad's hunting trips that he would go on with his friends, and then
in camping,
everybody would stay behind. And then Tammy grew up on salmon and venison, and now Tammy's brother is a hunting guide. He has a show on the freaking Sportsman's Channel, Life at Table Mountain. All his family, now they got more hunting guides and like a rancher girl. It's so much. And my question is, am I manly enough for you?
Yes.
And I'm not just talking about my penis, because I said we weren't going to talk about that on the podcast so much. And even though it would be really easy, since it's you and I, to talk about that, I don't mean, am I manly enough for you in terms of my penis, but wink. Blink once for yes and twice for no. No. That's just a joke. And it's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. And good enough. I wouldn't say it bothers me, but I would say I think about it sometimes. Because sometimes I don't feel like I have stuff in common with.
I have no idea where this plugs into.
You're going to plug it into the screw?
Well, I didn't know.
Well, I was saying to. Okay. Oh, you say something. And
what?
Then yeah.
Wait, what?
What's your first thought?
I'm sorry, but this distracted me. I didn't hear the last part of what you said.
I was going to start something else. Go.
About whether or not you're manly enough? Oh. Well,
what's your first feeling?
Your first feeling? Well, I think that I grew up in a family that, yes, hunted and fished and camped a lot. But I also was never as interested in it as the rest of my family, which is partly why I never, like my sisters would, actually, I don't even know if Stacy has, but my other sister, she killed a bear and, deer and whatever. I was never really...
Got them on our walls, yeah.
Yeah. So I was never really like that per se. And so I don't think I was ever drawn to be with somebody who went hunting and went fishing and went camping. I don't know. I guess I just don't think of it in those terms. Like you were the person that I wanted to be with.
But when I do grow an ugly beard out, and that's another thing, like I can't grow like a thick beard. I just have like I have that like annoying, like it kind of tricks me too. So like from the front, I'm like, oh, it's not great, but it's decent. That's fine. But then I catch myself sideways in the mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Shave this thing. Why didn't somebody tell me it looks so bad?
I don't think it looks bad. I think you're the only person.
Tammy's never said one negative thing about me in my life. So
oh my gosh.
I can't trust that. But
oh my gosh.
But then anytime I have like half a beard, Tammy's like, oh, this is so nice.
Because I like your beard?
I think it's like a weird
manly thing that you think that I just like because it's manly?
It's maybe fatherly.
Oh my gosh. That's so weird.
That's a common thing.
No.
Yeah, you search out patterns in your life. You have a strong woman in your life, you look for a strong you have a strong mother in your life, you look for a strong partner in your life.
Okay.
You have
I can follow your logic there, but when it comes to like beards,
my name is Michael Dean, his name is Michael Dean.
Yeah, that was pure coincidence and totally strange.
She's a freak.
Whatever. That is so weird.
You say it, not me.
That is so funny.
No, I was saying to Will, like, it's funny because one of the things about like modern, I think this is actually a positive thing. Like, it's like, it used to be like, oh, if you liked this thing versus if you're a boy and you liked even remotely, not even like wearing not even wearing the color pink, but you just liked the color pink or purple or even red. No, red, boys can like red.
Yeah.
But, or you just, or
purple
you,
thing
or
was
you
a
didn't,
big deal.
Or you didn't like playing basketball or, like, Landon told me like yesterday he was reading at recess, both recesses. And something like that, when I was a kid, like you would say like, that was not, that'd be like a girly thing to do or something.
Yeah.
But, or just like what your interests are or something. And like the best haircut I ever got was from a guy.
Mm-hmm.
in Kirkland, and he was just like a middle-aged guy who cuts hair.
Yeah.
And just normal, like he was married and had kids, and I don't know how he survived giving $20 haircuts, um, but it's like I think that's a change for the good to say like it doesn't make you gay, or you don't. It shouldn't immediately like spark a question inside of you whether you're gay or not if you like certain things or have if you're more comfortable with certain things than other things, or grew up a certain way or something, or because just cultures are different too. Like a guy may different cultures are more emotional and might be more you know acceptable for a man to cry or be upset about something or mourn or something in one culture versus another culture. Like we have a very like stoic man
Yeah.
kind of culture versus pretty much
That would be
most other places in the world.
My dad's like that. Like way more stoic. He doesn't like to show emotion like that. I mean, he's not emotionally cut off or anything like that, but he's definitely more to himself and more quiet. He doesn't like to, burden people with his stuff.
I mean, think about it in the wizarding world. When he was like, my son, my boy. If that was in America, he would have just said, my son, my boy. And he would have had to hold it in. Or else he would have been gay. So it's getting positive out there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny. I guess it depends like what group you're with, or I guess sometimes, whether people care about being manly or not.
I think it also depends on like how you grew up and the things that you were exposed to, whereas like I was talking to Dave across the street about hunting. It was just because that was something I could understand because he was talking about it. And so I was just trying to engage conversation. But it's not like something I'm like interested in necessarily.
Yeah.
It's just common ground that you find with people.
I'm not interested in charcuterie boards. In fact, I was demeaning them. The whole concept of them, the idea that they've been resurfaced from just like your standard meat platter. Meat on a plate.
People like arrange them all nicely. They do look very pretty.
First of all, they took them from a perfectly good plate, and now you put your meat on a slab of wood. I mean, that's backwards in my book. If they want to push the limits, they should have put that on a sheet of aluminum or something like that.
Aluminum?
Yeah. I mean, wood is backwards. Wood is what we used to do. And then we moved up to ceramic, some fine china. If they want to move meat service, meat eating forward into the 21st century, you have to eat it off of the trunk of a Tesla. I think. First of all,
a chunk of space metal.
Yeah, asteroid, a meteorite shard. Yeah, wood is backwards. Anyways, charcuterierewards.com.
They're popular.
Yeah, it's just
everyone on
meat a different way.
Everyone on Instagram takes pictures of their charcuterie. I can't even say the word. It's too late.
No, we can't act tired on the podcast.
Sorry.
We have to fake it sometimes.
Okay.
Will and I. Will's the yawner on the. I just said yawn.
I know. Now I want to yawn. Thanks a lot.
I'm really trying to hold it in, but
I know, and I can't be your drinking buddy or anything on the podcast because I can't drink.
Well, first of all, Will's not my drinking buddy. He's my brother. And pretty much the only night I have something is when we record this podcast. And now it's just more of a funny thing. I don't know what you call it. Little habit, little, what's the word I'm looking for? Routine.
I don't know what word you're trying to look
Come on,
for.
thesaurus me. Let's brainstorm. I can't do everything on this podcast.
I'm just the guest. You're supposed to be the one who's leading it.
You're supposed to join in.
I'm trying.
Anyways. But, that's what I was saying. So Will and I had those fall seltzers.
Oh my gosh.
Will and I had those fall seltzers. Then the next week, I saw the winter ones were in there. The fall ones just came out. So we had the winter ones, sweater pack or something. There was
the sweater
eggnog, sugar plum, cherry, something Will remembered.
It's weird.
And, cherry cordial. And cranberry. Wait, cranberry? Sugar plum.
I don't know.
Cranberry, cherry cordial. Basically, all of them were good. Even the eggnog one, seltzer nog. Oh, the seltzer nog was so good, actually. I was excited for it going over there
weird.
a couple days ago.
I love eggnog, but it sounds weird.
Anyway, those were good. We reviewed those shortly, not like last time, too long. Here's an actual honest question. I thought of this question as a joke, and now I'm taking it real. Who do you think has cried more since we've been together?
Cried more?
Cried more.
I don't know.
At first I was just going to ask you to be funny in this manly talk. And then as soon as it hit me, I was like...
Did you start crying?
I can. Then I was like, maybe it is actually me.
You? What do you mean? Oh, that who's cried more? Sorry, you started.
Come on, stick with this podcast,
oh
dog.
Oh my gosh, I got confused.
We need to record this earlier.
I got confused because you reverted back to the whole manly thing, and I was like, wait a second. I didn't understand your question, but I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you probably have cried more. Well, I don't know, because I am a crier.
I have big cries. I have big blasts.
I think I've cried more.
You've had, especially, I was telling a story. Especially I was telling the story of last time, our first couple of years of marriage, you crying a lot.
Yeah.
Because of anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
that probably just takes the cake right there. What did you think of that, by the way?
What you said?
Yeah. I mean, when I was talking about you, do you have thoughts like, did you think I talked about you right? Or whatever?
Yeah, I didn't. It was
I
actually,
don't say anything bad. I don't like.
The thing is it actually wasn't our first year of marriage. It was our third. It was our third year of marriage when that happened. Yeah. I mean, I've had anxiety since I was a teenager. Really bad panic anxiety.
I'm supposed to be the detail person. You're just supposed to like go with the flow.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just telling a story a little
know.
bit. If I don't get every detail right, it's okay.
Okay. I still wanted to correct you. No, I thought what you said was fine. And I didn't think that, I thought it was spot on.
It's not bad because obviously it's like,
I'm not guarded about talking about it. I don't really care if people know or whatever. Because it's just real life. It's just something that I've dealt with forever, and something that's me.
So when I go over to Will's on a Wednesday or Thursday night, do you ever get nervous about what kind of stuff we'll say?
No, I don't. Yes, I do. You're looking at me to give you another answer. No, I don't ever get nervous about it. For one, because I trust that you're not going to say anything that's going to embarrass me, for one. And also, I know the stuff if you ever talk.
You don't think any of the things I've said have been embarrassing?
Oh, you mean about?
I get, maybe not about you, but since you're married to me.
No, I don't think it was embarrassing. A lot of time I just think it's funny. I mean, you got to take life seriously sometimes, but not all the time. This is why I want to know what you're going to talk about before, because I'm the worst at being put on the spot when it comes.
We're just having a conversation.
I know, but about something deep like that, or something that's like
that wasn't deep.
It was to me.
I was just asking you what you thought about the story. If I thought it represented you well, if there's anything you want to add.
No, no, there wasn't anything I wanted to add. I thought that what you said was spot on. There wasn't anything that I would want to add to it.
Okay. That's all.
Okay.
This isn't 2020.
I feel like you're interrogating me.
I'm intimidating you.
Apparently.
That's because I'm manly. And because we're naked.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think there's part of my personality that's not really involved in the podcast? Because I do. Okay, so I did that solo, and I was talking to Will about this. It's like I am more of like a serious person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I'm kind of extreme like that. I'm like either like I'm really into like internal world, like motivation, sort of, not motivation as motivational speaker, life coach person, but just like what our motivations are for things, like what drives us in our hearts, in our bodies, the deepest part of who we are. Like, that's just really interesting to me. And it's hard to sometimes, just like we're saying, I mean, just like about sitting around a fire with the neighbors and stuff. It's like, yeah, I mean, people want to talk about hunting and golf and freaking their job. And we're asking them, what it was like to grow up in Gig Harbor and that kind of stuff. But, and I want to be like, who hurt you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can't help that I'm like that. It's just, it's what I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
But the hard part is like, that's an interest of mine that you just can't just go down, in the blink of an eye with somebody. It has to be trust. It has to be, and it's a lot of stuff that people don't want to talk about. And it's just, I just find it sort of fascinating and like talking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm not really into politics. I'm not serious like that, but I do like talking serious, and it's hard to do that on this podcast because I don't want to talk too serious or get too lost.
Yeah.
But I guess when I did that solo one, it was more, well, I needed something to talk about, but
I thought it was a little more serious.
I tried to like blend the line a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's hard when you do solo, because when you're with your brother or with anyone else, it's like there's banter, that can happen.
Trying.
Conversation that can happen.
Can.
But then when you're by yourself, you don't have that. So you rely on your strengths, which for you, I think are that you are knowledgeable about a lot of different things, and you're very thoughtful about the things that you talk about.
I'm a genius, according to a new friend.
Apparently. Yeah. I know. I thought that was so funny when she said that.
That was so weird.
Yeah.
What about Will? What's wrong with him?
It's a loaded question. I don't know. I don't think anything.
Yeah. I was just going to move on, but that made me think about Will. Like, what have I learned about Will on the podcast? Now that it's more of like a summary after recording. Well, what's this? 69.
This is the 69th episode?
Dude, this is fate.
This is perfect.
I thought that's why we were laying like this.
Oh my gosh.
And but Yeah, now that we've recorded like 100 episodes and published, 69 of them, trying to lump together all of like what I thought it would be like to podcast with Will, and now getting to know him more. I don't know. Not comparing, I was going to say like if I were to compare myself to him, but not in like a judgmental way. I don't know. There's things, especially when I went through counseling and I had that lady who I didn't like, and she said a couple things like, "Oh, you're over analyzing everything," and I was like, "No, that's like the only thing good about me is like I analyze stuff to a degree that ends up being helpful to me, and I hope other people sometimes too, but also." I think when I think about Will, I was like, oh, I think there are some qualities about him that I would want to be more like, and there's other ones, and this is what I meant in a non-judgmental way. It's like, but when you see other people, for me, it makes me feel like a little bit happier about the way. This sounds bad because I was going to say happier about the way I am, but it's just seeing yourself in relationship to another person. It doesn't mean I'm comparing something bad about him to something good about me, but when we do this week in and week out and we talk about a certain subject, it's like we're we're sharing our feelings about something. Not even that it's that serious, but you see the differences just in personality, how he developed, being a middle child, how he developed with his friends and his interests and his skill set in life, and how that all, blends into who he is now and how he lives his life. And same with me. And I guess for me, it's like, I always feel like just like that's just about like being deep or something, or being like, I was actually very, 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 very extremely nervous to go over to the neighbor's house. Not that I couldn't have a conversation for one night, but I mean, like, I don't feel like I know what to talk about. I don't, and then it's hard for me. It's not, don't think I'm a naturally inquisitive person about other people. I think that's kind of a downside of me, or the things that I am inquisitive about them about is you can't just ask, straight away when it's the first time you met them.
Yeah.
And
I kind of, yeah.
If you kind of apply that then to other areas of my life and how I interact with people and the things I like, I mean, just like, being a licensed pastor for 10 years, studying the Bible a lot, and like having all this knowledge, or even having a job like accounting that, people don't want to hear about, a job like accounting or whatever. And I mean, people don't want to hear about most jobs, but it just means like there's all these areas of my life where I can't talk to I can't talk to people about them or whatever.
Yeah.
Or just as personal interests go, that I can't share with other people, and then I sort of feel weird or feel like the outsider person, or then end up being like, and I have my own like mental problems and stuff like that. Then I end up feeling like not good about myself. And so I don't, for as like weirdly satisfied with myself as I am.
Yeah.
I'm also like, I'm not that like proud, or I'm not like that. I've never felt that happy about a lot of who I am or whatever.
Yeah.
In that way, I mean, but I think about, it just sounds so bad, but hanging out with Will and seeing him, I like myself a lot better.
Oh my gosh.
But it's, But it's not like he's a loser or anything. He's a lot better than me in so many ways. But it's what I liked hanging out with Matt too, because it's like you see. I think it's like you see the differences in each other, and it sort of makes you. That I think that's what's good, being close with somebody for so long, or just like your girls group. You have all like the old gals, it's all the different personalities and things. So it's sort of like from the outside, it's like a sitcom, because you would cast like this person is this person is this,
Yeah, because we're all so
you
different.
get the wacky group together. But in a way, for like me hanging out with Will, that's actually made me feel better about myself, as I've come to, since I didn't know him as well when we started, as I've come to appreciate all the stuff about him, just sharing from week to week, it's made me appreciate all the stuff about me. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I was wondering if when we went over to the neighbor's house, if you were nervous or not. I can kind of tell that you didn't necessarily want to go over there. You were kind of hoping that there would be like a way out of it, like, oh, it's too late or whatever. I was like, okay, is he just not wanting to go over there? Or if...
Yeah, I was hoping it didn't happen, but also I knew I could do one. And honestly, this podcast makes me think more about myself, stretch myself more, because it's hard to do all this. And this is actually, from week to week, sort of confidence boosting.
Yeah.
Being able to talk and have the conversations and stuff like that. So I did have a little confidence from that, but it's not just about that one meeting, because I thought, like Will and I talked about, it's like you can do one night pretty easy, but then it's like if I have a relationship with them, then you're going to see them outside, then it's got to progress past blah 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 blah, and then pretty soon Dave and I are making out in the no. This leads to that. We're with Daniel Craig at the bar. He's the manly one. I'm the crying one. Charcuterie board one. Anyways.
Are you just like does that bring up like you're afraid of having those kind of closer relationships, or you just mean with them in general because they're a lot different than...
Yeah, I think it's partly just perceiving, that immediate perception that we're a lot different just makes sort of the idea of like maintaining something sort of more challenging.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is hard. I mean, we need to wrap this up. Anyways.
I know.
You know what? I'll put that in my notes for another time to talk to Will about. But
and see, that kind of stuff.
We're out of time.
I love meeting new people.
We're out of time.
That's something that's like a difference in you and me.
Goodbye.
Oh my goodness. The one thing that I am actually trying to talk about. I love you.
This has been a great podcast. I'm sorry to cut you off at the end.
Oh, and I'm also
really,
sorry
you've talked too
that
long. Tammy Lynn B on Instagram if you want to follow. And Bad Brothers Podcast. It's not pod anymore. It's podcast on Instagram. Go check it out. Easy as MDB on the YouTubes, or you can search Bad Brothers Podcast. You'll get it. Sorry, what do you want to say?
I guess it doesn't matter.
We actually are out of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Brat.